I'm 27, married, a dad, and I feel like a single parent. This is the story of how my family started to break and why I'm fighting to put it back together. Hey everyone, I'm a 27-year-old guy navigating life as a husband and a dad. On paper, it sounds pretty standard, right? But lately, my reality feels anything but. There's a weight I've been carrying, a quiet struggle that's become impossible to ignore. To be brutally honest, even though I'm married, there are days, more and more of them, actually, when I feel like I'm doing this whole parenting thing completely on my own. It's a strange, isolating feeling, and it's one I never imagined I'd experience. My wife and I, we go way, way back. We're not just partners, we're childhood sweethearts, the kind of story people write songs about. We met when we were kids, practically grew up in each other's backyards, sharing secrets and dreams long before we even understood what love truly meant. Our friendship was the bedrock, slowly, beautifully evolving into something deeper, something undeniable. We saw each other through awkward phases, first heartbreaks, and all the messy parts of becoming adults. By the time many of our friends were still figuring out their next steps, still exploring who they were, we already knew. We knew we wanted to build a life together, a future that was uniquely ours. There was never a question in my mind that she was the one, and I felt that same certainty from her. We were a unit, a team, ready to face anything the world threw at us, as long as we had each other. That shared history, that deep understanding, it's what defined us for so long. We got married young. Not everyone understood it. Some people whispered that we were rushing things, that we were too inexperienced, too naive to make a lifelong promise. Friends our age were still out partying, still figuring out who they were, while we were signing marriage papers and talking about building a home. And honestly, they weren't completely wrong. We were young. We didn't have it all figured out. We weren't perfect, but we didn't need to be. What we did have was each other, and that gave us the conviction to take the leap sooner than most. We got married young. Not everyone understood it. Some people whispered that we were rushing things, that we were too inexperienced, too naive to make a lifelong promise. Friends our age were still out partying, still figuring out who they were, while we were signing marriage papers and talking about building a home. And honestly, they weren't completely wrong. We were young. We didn't have it all figured out. We weren't perfect, but we didn't need to be. What we did have was each other, and that gave us the conviction to take the leap sooner than most. Not too long after, we welcomed our daughter into the world. She was tiny, fragile, and yet she instantly became our whole universe. The warnings came again. You're taking on too much responsibility too soon. People told us we were skipping the fun years, that becoming parents this early would bury us in struggles we weren't prepared for. But when I looked at my daughter, I didn't feel fear. I felt purpose. It was overwhelming, yes. Exhausting at times. But it also felt right. Natural. Like, this was where we were meant to be. For the last 5 years, we've been piecing together our little family world. Building it brick by brick, through laughter and fights, sleepless nights, and sweet morning cuddles. Highs and lows, yet always side by side. Then came her passion project. Something she'd talked about for as long as I've known her. Ever since her teenage years, my wife dreamt about creating something of her own business, her own mark on the world. It wasn't just an idea to her, it was a fire. And when the chance finally arrived, when her dreams started becoming more than just conversations and daydreams, I knew exactly what I had to do. Stand beside her all the way. I told her, go chase it. I've got us. I promised that while she focused on building her dream, I'd hold down the house. I'd take on the day-to-day. I'd make sure our daughter felt stable and loved no matter what. I wanted her to know, deep down, that somebody believed in her completely, even in the moments she doubted herself. That even if she failed, it wouldn't change the way I saw her. And so I kept my word. I became the constant at home, while she poured herself into building something she had carried in her heart for years. Her business took off. What started as late nights and small steps soon became something real, something thriving. I was proud of her. I am proud of her. She had built this from nothing, turning passion into success. But that success came with a cost that none of us fully saw coming. Bit by bit, it consumed her. Work became not just part of her life, but her whole life. And while the business was gaining momentum, the thing that mattered most, our family, was quietly starting to slip through her fingers. The one feeling the weight of it the most is our daughter. She's 10 now. Sweet in the way she always wants people around her to feel loved. Funny, she has this sense of humor that can light up a whole room. Bright, curious about everything, always asking questions, always looking to share what she's learned. But when it comes to her bond with her mom, it's fragile, paper thin, almost invisible some days. The moments they share are rarely warm, rarely easy. Conversations are clipped, short replies traded back and forth like an obligation instead of connection. And often, it's just silence. Silence at the dinner table, silence in the car, silence in the house when we're all together but not really together. It's not open conflict. It's not disrespect. It's something quieter, which somehow makes it hurt more. Not anger, just distance. And so, naturally, I became the one our daughter leans on. I'm her safe place. The person she comes to when she's excited about something, when she's scared, or when she just wants to sit in comfortable silence. I'm her home base, her constant, and I love that role. More than anything, I'm grateful I can be that person for her. But at the same time, I wish she had that with her mom, too. Because every child deserves to feel that anchor from both parents, not just one. Not long ago, we had the worst fight we've ever had in our marriage. It started like so many of our arguments do, about the same old thing, her distance from our daughter. But this time, it escalated fast. In the middle of it, she looked me in the eye and said words I'll never forget. I've given up. I'm just not good at being her mom. Hearing that broke something inside me. How do you respond when your partner, the person who carried this child, who once glowed every time she talked about her, says she's given up? You don't clock out of parenting. Not when it gets hard. Not when you feel rejected. Not when connection takes work instead of coming naturally. But she had said it, out loud, and I felt my world tilt. After that, she doubled down. She told me I have it easy, that I don't understand what it's like to come home and feel like the person you created doesn't even want you around. She said our daughter prefers me, that she gravitates toward me for everything, that she has stopped even trying with her. And then came the wound that still lingers, the school project. Our daughter had been asked to interview someone she admired, and she picked me. It was one of my proudest moments as a dad, but to my wife, it was proof of rejection. Proof she wasn't good enough in her own child's eyes. She's still carrying that hurt, almost as if our daughter intentionally tried to humiliate her by not choosing her. But the truth? I can't take pride in being the favorite, because I know what that really means. It's not that I'm better. It's that my daughter isn't feeling loved or seen by the person who should be her first safe place. And here's the part that breaks me most. Despite all of this, our daughter keeps trying to bridge the gap. She knows her mom has always loved theater. So, even though she struggles with stage fright, she worked up the courage to audition for the school play because she wanted her mom to be proud of her. She made it in. She rehearsed. She told her mom the date. Over and over, she asked if she'd be there. And her mom promised, I won't miss it. But the night of the play came, and she wasn't there. I'll never forget watching my daughter on that stage, proudly looking out into the audience at first, hoping, searching with her eyes, expecting to see her mom in the crowd. And then I'll never forget watching her face as it shifted, the exact second she realized her mom wasn't coming. Pride drained, shoulders dropped. And after the show, she didn't even want to talk about it. No heartfelt apology followed. Just the usual, work was busy. Next time. But the reality? Next time never came. When Take Your Child to Work Day came around, I thought, this is it. This could finally be the moment for them to connect. A space for our daughter to see what her mom does, to step into her world, to maybe feel proud seeing her in action. I imagine them walking the office together, laughing, sharing inside jokes, enjoying a day that might build a memory she'd hold on to. But that's not how it went. Barely after arriving, my wife handed our daughter off to one of her employees and disappeared into meetings and calls. What was supposed to be about them became nothing more than babysitting by a stranger in her workplace. Our daughter waited. She hoped. She tried to be patient. And then she broke. By the time she got a chance to use the phone, she called me in tears, begging for me to come get her. Her words weren't angry. They were heavy. All she wanted was to go home. That night, instead of gentleness, instead of an apology, my wife scolded her. She told her that a bratty attitude had no place at work, as if hurt could be mistaken for disrespect. And from that night on, my daughter shut the door on the idea of going to work with her mom ever again. And here's where the cracks cut deeper. It isn't only about their relationship anymore. It's bleeding into ours, into my marriage. Intimacy is gone. We don't share those soft, quiet moments together anymore. It feels like all we have left are logistics, arguments, and silence. When we go out, she's in business mode, curated, hyper-aware, almost performing. Not there with me. Not really. And at home? The tension sits in the air like a fog. Every word feels weighed down. Every moment has an edge. Meanwhile, I feel like I'm raising our daughter alone, carrying more than just the household duties. I'm holding the emotional weight of the family, while my wife drifts further away. And yet, here's the hardest part. I don't doubt that my wife loves her. I've seen that love. I remember it during her pregnancy, how her eyes lit up whenever she felt a kick, how she'd talk endlessly about the future, about all the little things she wanted to do with our child. I remember the gushing, the laughter, the softness in her voice when she imagined the life ahead of us. But somewhere along the way, something shifted. The warmth turned into walls. The love is buried under exhaustion, frustration, and silence. And that terrifies me, because if I don't fight for this now, if something doesn't change, my little girl might grow up truly believing that her mother never wanted to know her. And that thought keeps me up at night. I don't want to paint my wife as the villain. She is not heartless. She is not cruel. She is someone who worked so hard for her dream that she lost sight of the people who needed her most. I don't want to tear her down. I want her back beside me. I want my marriage alive again. I want our partnership restored. And above all, I want our daughter to feel the love she deserves from both of us. To know, without a single doubt, that her mom sees her, values her, and loves her endlessly. But right now, standing where I am, I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to pull us back together before we fall apart for good. So here I am, stuck at a crossroads I never thought I'd face. I'm a husband who still loves his wife. I'm a father who desperately wants his daughter to feel the kind of love and safety every child deserves. And I'm a man who's terrified he might lose both if something doesn't change soon. I keep asking myself the same question over and over. How do I help my wife rebuild a bond with our daughter, while also trying to repair the cracks in our marriage? Because right now, it doesn't feel like we're fighting together anymore. It feels like I'm the only one in the ring, throwing punches against silence, holding everything up while trying not to crumble. And the truth is, I'm exhausted, scared, lonely, but I can't quit. Not when my daughter's heart and our family's future are on the line. I just hope, before it's too late, my wife finds her way back to us. Because for now, it feels like I'm fighting for my family alone.